Welcome to Gen 365 podcast. This is an initiative of Beyond the Veil Mission. And this is a podcast for the community to empower a generation of healing and hope 365 days of the year. Before we begin, I want to remind you the meaning of humanity or Ubuntu. I am because you are. I am because we are. Therefore, to create a safe and brave space for all of us, we must remember that my healing is as good as my community healing. This is a podcast for everyone who loves the community. If you are listening to this new episode, I want you to remember that we see you and you matter. Welcome. Hey friends, hi everyone. Today I'm so excited at Gen 365 to be with Nadia and Aaron. Nadia, I'm not too sure, but I never get used to calling you Nadia. I just like the other name.
Please feel free to use the other.
Your nickname, but for just professional reasons, let's try Nadia. However, thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year, because the minute we're gonna launch this podcast will be 2023. So I am so happy to be to have you today, Nadia and Aaron. I think I'm not going to present you. I'm gonna need you to introduce yourself to our Gen 365 community. One of you can start with telling us who you are in and outside of your professional settings and the role you play in the community. Thank you. One of you can go first.
I'll let Nadia go first.
Oh, okay. Ladies first, I guess. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, as I was introduced, my name is Nadia Ecyomuhendo, but my friends call me Kanana. Pretty much, if you call me Nadia, then you're outside of my community. My community calls me Kanana. Professionally, I work in pharmaceuticals. I'm a drug safety officer at Innomar. In the Rwandan community, mostly CARY Toronto, which is the Canadian Association of Rwandan Youth, I am in charge of communications, pretty much, or the spokesperson, if you may, the person who deals with like the social media, contacting other groups. And if I could go deeper in my, say, friend groups, communities, I'm the person who likes getting people together, your dealer of good vibes, pretty much.
Yes.
Music, dancing into the mix and everything. So, yeah, if I could introduce myself in that way. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you forgot one thing. You are a great MC, and I don't know why you always forget that.
Okay, according to Lydia, I should always add that I'm a great MC. Well, I haven't done it a lot, so I cannot give myself props yet, but hopefully 2023 is the year I actually take it seriously.
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Aaron, tell us about yourself.
All right. It's definitely a little bit hard to top that after Nadia's introduction, but I'll try my best. But my name is Aaron. I'm a technical business analyst for Scotiabank. Outside of work, I'll definitely say I'm a very curious person. I love learning. If I do not understand something, you'll find me most of the time researching or watching videos to try to understand. I do not like to not know something. So most of the time you will find me reading and researching in my free time. And I also do volunteer in CARY. I was an event coordinator and also help with the board as a vice president. Yes, that is at the moment all for me.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, we're going to go to I just want this conversation to not just be an interview type. I just want us to have a conversation. Myself right now, I'm in my pajama because I want us to really have a friendly conversation. First question, today's topic is about the community, building the community we want. I just wanted to start 2023 really encouraging, inviting everyone, especially the work that you do with CARY, myself, I'm part of CARY, Beyond the Veil. All of us have the heart for the community. And, I thought about the topic that can begin the year of 2023. And I was like, we need to talk more about the community, building a community we want. But the community is about people. So the first question is about reflection. If someone can give you 1 extra hour, out of 24 hours a day, 1 extra hour, what can you do with that?
Wow. I mean, I started last time. Aaron, you go ahead.
Well, again, it comes back to, thank you very much. It comes back again to what I was saying about researching. And now with all this information age that we're in, there's so much information. Sometimes I can't figure out what to watch and not to watch. Sometimes I end up sleeping while on my phone. So I guess if you added 1 more hour on my day, I'll probably be watching more of researching or trying to find out more things I don't know probably. Yes.
Awesome. How about you, Nadia? Are you ready or you want me to go?
Wow, what a smart man. Yeah,
I'm intimidated right now.
I will not lie, pretend. If anybody knows me, they know I'm the queen of naps. Carissa, I will take a nap. If you could squeeze in an hour, you know where to find me. I'll be in my bed, ready to, take a nap.
Oh my God.
But you know what? What Aaron just said is who I want to be 2023. Add me a day, an hour in a day, and I'll be reading. Yes, Aaron.
Absolutely. I think
that's where I want to be.
I think I also need to learn how to nap a little bit more. It might help. It might help to focus more.
No, don't go that road, please. Don't. It's time to come back.
There's a Bible verse. Well, I know it better in Kinyarwanda. When I used to be so heavy in church, they said, so some of us, we know we are God's beloved, God's favorite kids, I don't remember a lot from being in church, but if there's one verse I remember, it's that one, Kavisa. We
must rest. Yeah, I think last year also read this book about rest is what is it? It's a book about the movement of napping, resting, and all of that. The invitation. I think the Black community we deserve that. However, on my end, if I can have 1 extra hour, I can work out. I wasn't that person who likes to work out, but the minute I was introduced to that, for the last 2-3 months, I haven't been active at all. But however, every time I work out, my life is really changed in a second. So if I can have 1 extra hour as a mother, I always have so many reasons why I can do that. I can work out. Yeah.
For sure. And speaking of community, I know there's communities for mothers that are trying to get into working out, even from home, not going to the gym because that adds another, chore to your day, but working out from home. So if you want some, I can send them your way.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
I'm that connected friend.
Yes, I love that. That's the part of the community. That's what we want. Anyhow, I need to ask the same question. If you can have 1 hour removed, because we live in a stressful environment, we always have things to do, no time to rest. However, if someone can remove 1 hour from 24 hours of a day, what can you give up?
I will throw away my phone. Lock it away, just remove it from my hands. I'm already trying to do that already, so help me God. I would get less social media. I would eliminate the social media time I allocated. You know what I mean? So less 1 hour because as much as I want to, as much as I don't want to, it consumes my time, especially now in the holidays, looking at what everybody is up to, Sidrui, catching up with people and all that. But then it also transfers into when I get back to work, when I want to do something, waking up in the morning and seeing that somebody is in the, I don't know, and me, I'm laying here in the Toronto, snow. It just, it's bad vibes, man. It's bad vibes sometimes. So if I could eliminate something with like an hour or with, shorter time, I would definitely take away social media.
Wow, absolutely. How about you, Aaron?
I definitely do agree with that, Nadia. I think if 1 hour less was removed from the 24 hours we had, that would be 1 hour less for me on social media. I'll probably get rid of some social media too, because I think it's just it does pollute and I think distort your focus from focusing on your thing, and you're seeing all these things, so you don't know what to take and what not to take or what to focus on. So I think I'll definitely reduce the time on social media and focus on what's in front of me.
Absolutely. I think we're in the same boat. I will throw my phone away. I think it's been a month. I've been asking my son, every time we go to sleep, because usually my habit was, when my kids go to sleep, I have the time for myself. Let me go on my phone. And the next minute is midnight, and I have to wake up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. So now something that I've done is, when my kids are going to sleep, that's the minute my son take the phone away. I see it when they go to school. So, and it's been really, really helpful a lot. Yeah, that's really, we have something in common. And I've been reading about how the anxiety right now, it's like 1 in 3 people in North America, somehow they do not have mental disorder, but they have symptoms of anxiety. And you say that, Nadia, you're sitting in Canada and you're worried about people in India, Kenya, everywhere. It's like we're carrying the world issues on our shoulders, me too, the phone will be something. Anyways, speaking of the community, I would like to know, how would you, we talk about the community, how would you define the community in your own ways?
Okay, I'll go first. Aaron is looking at me. I'll go first. I would describe a community as a space. So it can be both like physical and mental. A space that has like-minded people. So that space could be by fate. Say we're family, we're from the same country, or by choice because we're like dancers or gym people or mothers, and I feel like us staying in that community is by choice, definitely. And what kind of work do we do to like upkeep our community? Like share food, learning each other's ways, being tolerant, admonishing each other when somebody's wrong. That's how I come. Whenever I think of community, for me, I think of like, it's always a circle. I always think of a circle. I always think of like something enclosed, and like that space in the middle is like, it belongs to everybody, There's like no one at the top, no one at the bottom, just everybody's right there, Everybody is included. Yeah. That's my very non-scientific definition of community, Aaron.
Yes. Aaron?
Definitely as well, the way I do see community as well is more of like the people who you feel more safe around, that you can trust. I would say even from knowing very little about them, but you're still able to trust them, because you would guess how they grew up, the values they have and you share from where you come from, and people also who you're able to express yourself freely without having to blend or be something who you're not. So that is what I do define community, and yeah, absolutely.
Wow, I got 2 things from Nadia, the circle, like togetherness. There's something that brings us together. And, you mentioned also a space. I love that. And also, Aaron, I think you challenged that idea. It's a community that brings us together, whether I trust you or not. But I know that, we're together. Somehow there are people out there. We have something in common. And it's a matter of, I might trust you or not, but you're part of my community. I think I really love that. And I need to ask you, there are different types of communities, especially Nadia shared that you can have either you're dancers or you do something differently. You can have different things, but you can have something that you do in common. And, can you tell us, some of the communities that you belong to and which one you identify yourself with the most and why? because we come from different communities. There's the Rwandans living in Canada, but there are also other communities we belong to, Give us an example of which one you belong to and which one you identify yourself the most with.
Okay. I feel like the one I identify with the most varies with where I am, because I found myself, for example, when, say I'm at a dancing festival and I'll look for other Black people, most precisely other Black women. So I am already in a dancing community, but I am going to look for even the smaller niche where I feel safest, which is other Black women, So I feel like the communities, the question was the communities I belong to. So pretty much the Rwandan community here, people I work out with. So I guess wellness, my gym people, some of them, and then dancing community for sure. Outside of the Rwandan community, gym and dancing is where I got to have that sense of community. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's, and the one I identified the most with is pretty much like me being a Rwandan woman, like me being Black from, Africa. Genre, that identity it shouts. I mean,
yes.
My skin, it sets you apart in like crowds and, at work, gym, while, bref, yeah.
Wow, that's
that was not the most precise answer, but
no,
there you
did, because I heard so many communities listening from you. Dancing community, the Black community, women. There's so many communities there, but then it's. I'm glad for this conversation, because when you get here, you just learn so much about these so many identities that bring us together. And and then there's the Rwandan that really you identify yourself the most. Then there's the Black community. It's like, How about you, Aaron? I think you are muted.
Oh, what about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah, that is definitely an interesting question. Well, for me, I would definitely say, due to a lot of history and where I grew up from. I was born and raised in Burundi, and at home, basically, I would say out of home, I always felt like Burundian. But whenever I came home, all the stories about my grandpas, people before me, and everything, the only thing I could identify with was Rwandan. So I'll definitely say the one I identify more with, because it is my roots and culture and where I come from, is always Rwandan, because that is the one I've been able to be taught and live around. Here in Canada, I'll definitely say there is a lot of communities I'm part of. There's the Black community, there's the Rwandan community, and also religiously, I would definitely say Christian community. So I definitely say, depending on the environment, I would say I do identify with a lot of cultures, but the culture the community which I identify more with and that I feel more, I would say, relatable to and know more about would be the Rwandan community.
Thank you so much. I think I need to jump to one question that I think that can relate to whatever we just finished to discuss, because I think from everything you answered, there's a bigger conversation. There's this article that I read from this woman. She was saying, when the time I became Black, she's from the African descent community, and when she came to Canada, she was introduced to this idea, now you are Black. And where we come from, it's more of like, I'm Rwandan, like, I never identified myself as a Black woman until I came to Canada. And I want us to discuss, being an African immigrant. We can even use the term African descent. Most of us, have to deal with some culture shocks that come with integration into the Canadian society. Tell us things that surprised you about the culture shift of your identity when you came to Canada.
Aaron, you go first.
Yeah, definitely. So when I first definitely came to Canada, I'll definitely say I got very shocked that most people would feel like it is because when we are in Canada, all of us, there is no such thing as I would say the Canadians don't see us as Rwandans, Burundians, I would say Congolese, Kenyan, whatever. They all see us as Black people. So there was this stereotype. I felt like seeing a Black peaceful person, a Black joyful person was very rare. So whenever you're just peaceful and happy around, people would sense of like feel like there's something which is not right, or like this person is probably scamming or something. They expect you to be angry, mad, or show this face. So definitely also like another shock I got is finding out that as much as we all were created equal, there is a sense of, I would say, stereotype that in the West they have about Black people, that they are people who need to be educated or supervised or in a sense don't have, I would say, any humanity or human values, like caring for the family, loving, genuine happiness. It all comes from conversations I get here and there, and I'm not saying it's all Canadians who have that, but I would say from a majority, something I came to realize, and it is shown. Most people might not realize they're doing it, from what I've realized, but it does come out that way in the background. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, especially from a man perspective, how Black men are viewed, as dangerous, as, know with the value of who they are, where we come from, I never had to walk, from someone and, feel like, oh, I'm scared because of who you are. We understand that where we come from, that challenges as well, wars and stuff like that. We have experienced that. However, there's a shock when we come here, just being you already, it's a crime. I'm raising boys 15, 11, and I have this conversation when my son is taking the bus at 7 p.m. I'm scared because I'm like, he's Black, he has dreads, all those, facial features already put him a high risk. Thank you for sharing. Nadia, how
like you just said, if I may just add on, sorry. Like, let's say one of the things that usually come out is like when you're walking on the street and like, let's say there's someone who is probably not of the same color as you walking in front of you, you will see they probably don't know that you realize it, but you will see them slow down to let you go in front of them. So it's sort of like, or you'll see them hold on tighter to their bag or something. So they don't really feel comfortable you walking beside them or behind them closely. So yeah, that comes out very insulting at some sense, and I would definitely guess someone growing up around that thing for years and years, it can definitely disturb them and cause other problems.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, my turn. Okay, so my initial shock before coming to Canada, I experienced in the US because I did 4 years of my university there. So I feel like, well, first of all, just what you described as this type of like stereotypes, I came to understand as systemic racism, which is pretty much ingrained in each and every aspect of culture in North America. How Black Americans are treated, or how can I say, African Americans are treated versus how they treat Africans.
Yes.
Like all that shocked me because African Americans were treated differently in the sense of we were viewed as very clueless, as she probably just came down from a tree and straight into university. I don't know how they expect that to happen, but
true.
It was like, oh, she's clueless. So the moment we started talking about the same, stuff that we've read, like, systems of oppression and everything, it's like, what? Oh, you're Black too now, now you're Black, not just African. Now you're Black. And of course, realizing that part of what makes my identity now is what also makes me afraid of like the world. So being Black, right? Where we come from, we're Rwandans, you know? But being there, I was a Black woman, and there's a lot of things that come with being a Black woman, the stereotypes that come with it, being, you know, now I have to be aware of the fact that, if I laugh loud, then, it's a Black woman laughing. It's not just Kanana being Kanana. This is a Black woman. If I get angry, then I have to make sure it doesn't, you know, come out as a burst, because I'm not going to be considered emotional. It's going to be a Black woman being aggressive, you know? So I became aware of all these stereotypes, and these were very shocking. Mm-hmm. That was in the US, where I feel like the racism is a bit more out there. And I was a lot careful. I remember being very scared for a very long time, just like walking on toes, feeling like I'm walking on eggshells.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to mean. So that I don't like step on any toes, so that I don't offend anybody, so that I don't,
yes.
That was bad, because I should have never. And then I moved to Canada, and the racism here, you know, is a bit more polite. It's microaggressions.
Microaggression.
The most recent one is I was at a hotel for just a weekend, you know, out of town, and I'm enjoying this like nice buffet for breakfast, you know, brunch, and I'm right there with my plate in line, and this white woman comes and hands me her plate. And I'm like, excuse me, I must be dreaming. What? She's like, tu ne travailles pas ici? And I was like, and I just kept looking at her, and I was shocked. Knowing me, anybody who knows me would say, Kanana definitely snapped at her. And, you know, no, I was too shocked. In that moment, everything I knew, all the courses I took, and like, self-respect, what? I forgot. I just froze. And I feel like, I was like, wow. Every time something like that happens to you, there's like a part of your, you know, cette personne, you know, who's like tall and strong and loud, that just, you know, I was just very shocked. And after the situation, I kept thinking about what I could have said. You know, I could have said like, oh, is it because I'm Black? No, all that disappeared. I was left open mouthed.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, those microaggression, cause, you know, you don't know how you're going to address that, but then you feel that, and it does affect you. Yeah, I'm really, you know, this space, especially for Beyond the Veil, our goal is, you know, how can we come up with appropriate resources for our community? Because I think yesterday, I was watching this new documentary, you know, a discussion about Xanax. It's this drug for anxiety disorder. It's a new documentary for Netflix. And this Black woman, she's a therapist. She was saying how, like, you know, they were trying to encourage Black men to join therapy, and nobody was coming. And then they launched, you know, these free support services. They received, I think, in the first week, like, you know, 15 Black men joining. And there was a question to check, have you ever experienced trauma? And everybody was like, no.
Nope.
And they were like, you know, this does not make any sense. A Black man in America, no trauma, something is off. Then at some point, she kept asking the same question to this client. And at some point, you know, he mentioned that he's been shot, you know, at some point of his life. Then he's like, you know, but when asked questions, if you ever been traumatized, you said no. But then he was like, you know, but you were not specific. And that from there, she was like, oh my goodness, we have to change of the ways we ask these questions to our community. Maybe because, you know, like what you're saying, you and Aaron, sometimes, you know, that microaggression can impact us, even leading to trauma symptoms. And we don't know how to express that because how it's written on those forms or anywhere, there's no space for us to express exactly what we go through on a daily basis. And thank you so much. I think, you know, yeah, let's move on. But I would like her, especially with CARY, to have this conversation because I think that's where even our community, the integration of Rwandans living in Canada is a little bit hard because, you know, there is the Black community, Afro-descent community, we are Rwandans. It's like there are multiple identities we have to navigate. It's like, how do I become a fully Black woman? How do I become like, this? It's like, changing every single time to suit the narrative. And it's so hard. That's why we have all these communities, and we have to really figure out how we can provide either educational resources to our community so that we can understand how the system treats us to be able to navigate it. Anyhow, moving on to the next question, at Beyond the Veil, Gen 365 podcast, is a podcast by Beyond the Veil Mission. We believe that the individual healing is as good as the community healing. What do you think about this concept? The individual healing is as good as the community healing. What do you all think about this?
Go for it.
Yes, I absolutely agree, because I think for the community to heal, individually, every person has to as well go through the process. If one person is healed, but the other community, or I would say the majority of people, are still experiencing the same type of trauma, it sort of like forces you to go back to that, I would say, narrative or image that has been portrayed about you. By example, for this, I can even say, for example, even here in Canada, you find that most Black people themselves, most Black people, even us ourselves, we find it very weird between ourselves that we see a Black person who is very, I would say, joyful and happy. We sort of like see them as weak or something like that. But I think that is how we have been taught to show ourselves, to present ourselves. So one then avoids to heal or to have that sense of happiness or joyfulness and sense of not being stripped away from, like, you are not Black or yes. So, yeah. So to fit in, you have to then abide by that pre-set notion that we have set even for ourselves. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I have to say something that I recently I don't know, I was having a conversation with a male friend of mine, and it's crazy him saying that being, serious, like respect all the time, is what makes a man, because it's crazy how Black men especially have to keep up this image, and the moment you like stay out of, well, it's a result of the patriarchy. Hello. I'm going to talk to you about the patriarchy.
Yeah.
It's a result of that. But it's also very sad. And I feel like, yes, communal healing is needed for men to free themselves, Kabisa, from the expectation you all gotta be angry all the time to be manly. Like, Black boy joy is a thing. Ascribe to it.
Yeah. Wow, that's really, there's the pressure. Of course, there's always the community can be part of our healing and can also be part of our not healing.
Yeah,
because so much pressure, especially myself, I'm learning so much about, I'm being educated about, like, Black men needs, because I'm in the training to becoming, a psychotherapist. And I just recognize that there's so much that I have to learn. There's so much pressure towards men, and I cannot be in the space to speak for you. I'm glad that Aaron is here, but you are so right. There's so much pressure to keep up with the male identity, especially the Black man. And, it's going to take the community. So, but Nadia, what do you think about this concept that my healing, is as good as the community healing?
I truly believe in that, because, again, I'm Rwandan at the core, We are a very community-oriented people compared to here, which is like super individualistic.
Yes.
I strongly believe that a person, like, at the essence of a person is what makes them, their environment. And if the environment is sorry,
that's okay.
When
it's safe here.
Think of it as I don't know, putting something like it's a beautiful thing, but then you put it like everywhere there's no like water feeding it. There's say a plant, you know, you keep you know, giving it like the nutrients, but it's in very bad soil, you know, it's not going to grow despite that it's a very healthy seed and everything. It's going to go bad. So I strongly believe in us, you know, as a community healing together. Especially now in these days, I've been doing therapy, and even through, you know, I shout out to Beyond the Veil Mission, because I got for the first time free therapy for, I think I got like 6 weeks of free therapy.
Oh my God. We better bring that back next year. This year, 2023.
This for sure, because I benefited from that. It was in 2021 and I definitely needed therapy. But as much as I acknowledge it's important, you cannot do therapy and then go back to the same traumatizing, triggering situations, like say, you know, poverty, ever rising inflation. Maybe people don't understand that there are like triggering factors in your life, or that they're toxic. You know, you work on yourself, but that cannot happen if you live in a world that is full of these things that keep you going back to the same place. So for you to grow, your environment or whatever is around you needs to get better as well. Yes. So Kabisa, I used to be an advocate of like therapy. Oh, this person, they need therapy. Therapy. No, my friend, now I'm actually a big believer in, you know, the bettering of the environment. I am not as I'm not as well versed as you probably are, but I'm educating myself on, you know, how to be a better community for the people around me, how to create a better community, you know, for me. And I don't know how to navigate the crazy world outside that keeps bringing me back to, cause some days I think I have healed, I have grown, and then something happens and I find myself at case départ and I don't know what to do. So I've definitely seen the importance of whoever surrounds me. And the conditions surrounding me. At least I've realized their importance in my healing. So I agree with your concept, Kabisa.
Absolutely. You all said it well. I think it's so important, even when we speak about the community, even family. I love that children and youth therapy usually involve families and children and the youth whenever possible, because it would be a waste of time helping the child or the youth without helping the parents, helping the environment. And I think with the community, it should be the same thing, you know, especially, you know, we discussed a lot about, you know, multiple identities that bring us together, the Afro-Black community. And, you know, we suffer from different racial traumas, so many things. And I think, like, you know, I like that many Afro-Black community are coming together to create a space to feel, you know, to welcome everyone. I've been attending different events with you guys and other people joining either other nationalities or other communities. And it's amazing. The minute you connect, there's so much we have in common and we can help together and all of that. Anyways, let's keep going. We speak about the community, how we really need the community to thrive, you know? So, and I love that Nadia concluded with, you know, I used to say that everybody needs therapy, but I recognize that people need community support. And I've been an advocate of, you know, socioeconomic support, not dismissing the idea of therapy, but I believe that many people are in therapy with the issues that the society have created, housing issues, going through different poverty, lack of resources, and people spend their time in therapy. While as a community, as a society, we can do something. That's why the conversation has to be inclusive with all those aspects. Anyway, to continue, we have, you know, not too small community of Rwandans living in Canada. I'm going to ask you, do you feel supported by a community? If yes, how? If you don't feel supported by a community, you know, tell us, what's missing.
Okay, I'll go first. I personally feel supported, but I can attribute that maybe to my willingness to seek out community at first. So I cannot speak for anybody else. When I came here, I had an intention of seeking out, like-minded, say, Rwandan people. So personally, I feel supported. In many ways, I have developed very strong friendships that we grow together pretty much. And that has been a good anchor for me. And then professionally too, I have made networks in the Rwandan community and Black community that have helped propel me and given me certain opportunities. But I cannot say it is the same for everybody. So I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. I don't know when we're in Rwanda, but when we get abroad, we become a bit, how can I say, a bit suspicious of each other in the sense of, Abanyarwanda hano bari ntabwo baba bari serious. We go with the stereotypes of Abanyarwanda, they don't keep time. Abanyarwanda, they're not serious. Abanyarwanda, we don't give each other opportunities. We go with those stereotypes, and that pretty much isolates us. So I feel like the community can serve us better, and this is me speaking generally, by, I don't know, being more trusting. Again, this is me just saying, I don't know how to build trust. So that is maybe something we need to work on. Build trust, I guess, shut down the negative voices, work on getting better. And really believe in you, we got each other's backs. Like I see other communities doing for themselves. I see like the Ethiopian community, some Asian communities here from like various countries, Indians notably. Kabisa nibo bantu I could give you an example of in say Toronto, who you can clearly see they're really there for each other in a way that even sets them apart. So if we could do the same for our communities and really uplift each other, be there for each other. Musa, I'm not gonna throw away everything because I have still seen the Rwandan spirit through many things, especially say when a person, for example, a person loses a loved one. I've seen people who have never met the person, send money, come to the Chirio, so we still have the Rwandan spirit. I just feel like this one aspect of like trusting each other beyond wanting to be there for each other socially would be a good thing. So talking like business, careers, giving people opportunities. If you know something at your job, talk to a brother, talk to a sister, because other communities do it. I work in pharmaceuticals, and I promise you, people hire their friends, but they learn on the job, and and the person, the woman who pretty much gave me, my interview, she's a Burundian woman, and she explained to me the whole reason behind me actually having to be there. She was like, we don't give each other these opportunities, but you actually should be here because you being there is going to open the door for other people in our community. Just like when other communities, get into those places, they hire their friends, they hire people from their countries who they know are looking for those jobs. So that's the only way I feel like we could be there for each other. As a community.
Yeah. I love that. And there is a big word there that you mentioned, trust. And it's very big. And going back to what Aaron said before, whether I trust you or not, we together as a community, how can we navigate that? But let's hear from Aaron first, because I really love that.
Yeah, I also do absolutely think there is help in the community. You should do seek out for the help. There are people who are willing and ready to help. But like Kanana said, you have to be willing to seek that help, to seek the involvement, which I think also does align with the healing. If the person is already healed personally, individually, to be able to feel comfortable and to come be with others, share their thoughts with others. Although I do think there is room for improvement, absolutely. I think from all of us who are part of the community leadership and the face of the community, we need to set up and create an environment and people will know and will feel it if it's genuine or not. An environment which is not judgmental, realistic, and basically showing people that we all are going through the same things and no one is going to judge you. You can feel, because I think one of the things from our community, Rwandan community, is we are a smart community and we do not like having our things in places where we would feel judged. So having that community and leadership, which is realistic and willing to humble themselves and listen to people without seeming or coming out judgmentally, I think more Rwandans are willing to participate and join the community hub. But like you say, some will just stay away or refrain from a fear of how they will be seen or how they'll be perceived. But in truth, I think we have to welcome people and let them know we're all here, we're all growing, we're all navigating this life. No one is perfect. And obviously people will do things that may offend others, but that is because we're all, at the end of the day, developing. So we're all, still learning. And although it might hurt, at the end of the day, make them feel that even though you might not agree, at the end of the day, it comes from a good place. And being able to talk and say when they're hurt, that way people know how to do better next time.
Wow, that's great, and I hope for especially community leaders who will be listening from this podcast, they can take something out of this, because at the end of the day, I heard you both mention, the willingness to seek help, all of that. However, I'm trying to understand how the willingness can be there if there is no trust. I can have the will, but if I fear that the trust is not there, how am I going to really seek that help?
That's an interesting question.
So
we hear often, especially, reflecting on the conversation about suicide on social media, often people say, seek help, seek help, seek help. However, it can be challenging. It depends on your community. Sometimes it becomes depending on even on the stage of your life. There is a time maybe when I was at this age, living in Toronto, there was a bigger community of my age. It was much easier to navigate the community, finding myself. But where I am right now, it's so, and where I live, my community, yes, I have a large community, however, Rwandans living here, but the connection might not be as the same because, people, I identify myself, depending on your stage of life, age, maybe marital status, so many things. It can be challenging. And you hear often people say, seek help. I'm telling you, based on my experience, it can be different. Because you want to seek help where you feel like, welcomed, where you feel like, where you have the confidence. Oh my goodness, when I go seek help, I know, I don't need to know the outcome, but I know at least, even if there's no support coming from there, but I know at least somebody knows. So when you hear often people say like, seek help, that word is very triggering to me, because sometimes, many people want to seek help, but then the bigger question is, if this trust is not here, how are we going to grow together as a community?
You're actually very, very right on that, because I feel like both of us are speaking from a very, personal point of view. Luck played into us, maybe finding the communities that we found, but it's not the case for so many other people, because we've realized that in our community, there's actually a rise of, people experiencing like depression, anxiety, isolation. And I don't think it's new. It's just that it's now that people are talking about it.
Yes.
And it's still met with, what was huh? Why are you crying? You know, have you seen anything in this life? Eh? You eat, you sleep, you what? How could you say you're depressed? So what you just said right there is on a general aspect, Kabisa, very true. I feel like we both spoke on a very, if I could, you know, give advice as me, but I don't consider the person who maybe has tried before and met unkind people, you know, or tried to voice their opinion and was shut down, you know. So, Kabisa, there was something I'm still educating myself on how to build trust. I really don't know how, because I feel like it's a do or die. You go,
and also it makes sense as the collective healing on the collective healing conversation. We come from a traumatic, you know, a community that was traumatized, you know, genocide against the Tutsi, you know, a history of trauma is right there. And one of the things that trauma really breaks is the trust. You know, we can't blame each other that this person trusts better. You know, when you have experienced, you know, a past traumatic event, you learn how to protect yourself. And we live by, even when we get here, most of us, you know, it's like, you know, we've lost a lot in life. I don't have any other minute. It's like, you know, we're overprotecting all the time. We're over looking for issues that are not there. We are trying to always scan the environment. So I understand where we come from. But from this conversation, I think the bigger question is, you know, how do we build trust? And if it's not possible, with trust or not, how can we stop maybe blaming each other and recognize that what brings us together is bigger than what we're missing? You know, I like when Aaron started saying, like, you know, whether I trust you or not, we are part of the same community. And either you are part of the dancing, whatever, it's not like you vibe with everyone. There's always, you know, your few people there, but at the same time, you have a common goal. And as Rwandans living in Canada, you know, we are also grateful for, you know, the Canada giving us a home and all of that. Why are we here? You know, if we are here to build a community, be stronger, then this piece that always set us back, because I'm going to be honest, I think this issue here, lack of trust, stop our community from thriving. I'm going to say it in a simple way. Even our leadership, you know, leadership and members and all of that, it's not small, but at the same time, I believe that we can thrive above it. And then as we grow, this issue of trust is going to become smaller. Oh my goodness, I'm talking too much.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Because again, this is complex. Yeah. When you approach it, you know, from different angles, you won't know how complex it is, because each one of us can just classify it as this and then just move on. But yeah, it opens, and I really hope the conversation doesn't end here. This can actually start an even, you know, larger conversation on how to build trust, how to listen, you know, because I feel like a lot of times we listen to give advice, unsolicited advice most of the time. I can just give you the space. Part of community is giving each other the space to just be, you know, just
absolutely
with what, you know, just listening without having to tell you how to live your life or how to exist, or that what you're feeling is not valid. Like, come through, you're valid. Your feelings, your experience, you're valid. And yeah, man, I want to know more on how to build trust. Maybe let's have our, you know, leaders joining on next time.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. You know, next time, even it can not even be a podcast. Maybe you can organize something. I think I don't know who I talked to, Kaiser, a few people. I was like, you know, we need a conversation where we bring in, especially the older community and the younger one, and we have this conversation, because I'm like, Rwanda is winning everywhere. We have to take this opportunity. Now, wherever you go, it's, even when we attend the event, the CASA event, There were like, Ghanaian people, Nigeria. But Rwanda, when you hear that name, everybody, you could see the excitement, and this is in Canada. And I feel like, we have to use this opportunity as we are shining, not only to win in Rwanda, but also as, Rwandans living in Canada. How can we really win here? Because for me, we have a good community. I hear mostly, we are a safe community. We don't have issues around and all of that. I want us to win. But to win, we have to come together. We have to appreciate people who are doing, something, support them regardless of how it's broken or not good enough, be behind them. And I like this big conversation around trust. I think it can help us to go, to move from somewhere and thrive. Anyhow,
absolutely. I also do agree. Just not to turn this into a solution on how we can build trust, but I do think that having a little bit of icebreakers, like people coming out, telling their stories, experiences, realistic experiences, and not textbook solutions, would definitely help build trust. Because if we talk to all of us here, I'm pretty sure we have experiences we've gone through that we may probably not look like, but if we're able to open up and make the other person not feel scared or afraid of whatever they might have been experiencing, to feel like they can trust us enough to come to us for help or speak their issue, then definitely I think those can be icebreakers in building trust.
Yeah, we really need to. Some groups of the Rwandans living in Canada, it can be CARY, can be my local group. It's always quiet as, I don't know you, but I'm like, we don't need, of course, to be chatting every second. But I'm like, something can tell that, are we comfortable? Yes, we love each other, but, it's like, we are always on the eggshell, controlling, even when I'm about to send a message, I'm telling you, I'm always like, oh my goodness, I'm reading the message 2 times, 3 times, because I'm like, oh my God, I have to be careful. If this message lands on this group, I think this conversation has to continue from here. Anyhow, moving, how can the leaders of Rwandans living in Canada improve their work to support the people they serve? This is a message we're going to send to our leaders. We love them because we elected them. So, what can they do to improve their work to support their members, Rwandans living in Canada?
I'll definitely say maybe sharing a little bit more of like what visions and priorities and goals they envision for the future of Rwanda and Rwandan youth more oftenly. That way people know and know what to focus more on and what to learn more from where we are. That way we can share it with our, I would say, I don't know if I should call them less fortunate or fortunate. It depends with the situation. But some people want to come here and also get this knowledge. That way they go back to their countries. So even with those who are not able to come here, we're able to share some of those ideas according to the plans and future that the leaders have for the country as well.
Wow, thank you so much. How about you, Nadia?
Personally, for leaders,
yes, Nadia.
So if I had to maybe just convey a message to Rwandan community leaders here in Canada, is to be more approachable, for sure, when it comes to young people. I speak for young people because I am one. Personally, I feel like they need to be more approachable, because if they give an opportunity for young people to be themselves around them, there is this pressure to be, to be somebody else when you're around elderly Rwandan people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to better say it. There's this pressure to appear as you're not. We're not in Rwanda anymore. We're in Canada, where people can be whatever they want.
Yes.
So some young people I know are like, why should we come to your events or participate in anything of yours if we need to come and camouflage who we really are? You know? So I feel like we need to, Rwandan leaders need to have a be and let be concept so that comment dire? I'm trying to find my words here so that I don't offend anyone. So that, I don't know, young people can come to our stuff because we see it. There is lack of attendance on the, when it comes to the youth. And that's because, the preparation of everything does not include young people. Mm-hmm. Or it includes them, but they have to constrict themselves to what has always been done. Oh, yes. It's 2022. innovations are, 2023, my bad. This is 2023. Fault of habits. Mm-hmm. And, mm-hmm. there's innovation everywhere, and there has to be innovations in the way we do things,
Yeah, absolutely.
The same way we talk about, say, Black people participating in white-dominated stuff, like there has to be an effort to include Black people. We always talk about it, right? So it's the same thing with us in our community. I feel like being a young person doesn't make you less knowledgeable. It doesn't make you less smart. Yeah, the experience that your elders have, but we're well read. Young people, we definitely want our voices heard, but there has to be an effort, to bridge that gap to people and be like, okay, how can it be done your way?
Yeah, there is a need. Yeah, that's a good one there. You need to bridge that gap because even in terms of leadership, if you have an event and you trust young people to organize, it's important to fully trust them that they can deliver, right? Exactly. Yeah, that's we really need more conversation about this, and we can make this happen. I've been having this need since last year. I think we have to do something, not just on Zoom, but in person, having an engaging conversation. Because at the end of the day, we need each other, both generations. We do need each other, recognizing talent, what's new here, ways that we can help each other thrive. I really, really loved it. On my end, I think, both of you said what I was supposed to say. I think I'm not going to add anything else. I think, that trust our leaders, be approachable. I think one thing I can add is be resourceful, because I'm our community needs to be resourceful. What I mean is that if we elect you as leaders, it's important you create a strategic plan. What are you going to accomplish? Because I feel like, most of the conversation is at the beginning when we are going to elect them, and then when we have this special event from the community. But we need a strategy on how we are growing, to grow our community, have a winning community. When I say resourceful, there's so many support out there from the government, from different organizations, and already having a community that have more than 100 members, your qualification is so high. You don't even need to say so much. If we see that there is a need and none of us can meet that need, we can even hire other people from other Black communities who are experienced and come to us and help us to know how do we integrate better in this community. There's so many resources here, and I think we are missing out. And I think this is the time our community had to really seek out those support and being really, I would like to see a Rwandan, a center for Rwandan people in Canada. And I always say, can we build around the youth? Because for me, I'm if we can support the youth, especially CARY, already you have established something amazing for the young people. I'm we can come around you and grow from there, because you can be able to connect the younger ones, the children, and then the older generation, and we can grow around you. you have energy, you are more resourceful, networking and all of that, and we can support you. This is my opinion, but, we can hear from our leaders next time. Anyhow, I would like you to speak about CARY. Tell us what to expect in 2023. First of all, CARY is, if you're listening to this, is a Canadian Association of Rwandan Youth. There are different groups in different cities, but we are here from Toronto, and we want to hear what to expect. We have many young people, newcomers, what to expect from you. This is your space.
I'll let Kanana go first on this one.
Okay.
The communication officer.
Oh my God. Yes. I did not prepare a communique for this, but just at the top of my head, we have been working very hard, especially in the last, say, quarter of the year, to ensure that we have structure for the things we do. So refining how leadership, as far as leadership goes, who's in charge of what, how long are you going to be there, so that we can have, one, access to funds, being funded, because that is at the heart of everything in North America. It's going to allow us to function. And then on a group level, we want to be we want to be like church, tell people about the good word. CARY is here, and we welcome every Rwandan youth in the GTA. And that's pretty much what we're aiming to do, and to be more consistent with our programs, which so far, honestly, Kabisa, for the group we are, I'm very proud of us. Hey, let me brag on us.
Absolutely.
But we have been putting out programs that gather our people. The ones that people respond to are the social ones, so barbecues, getting together, and people need that. Young people need that. Definitely, we love it. We want to be together, dance to some Kairevga, Ish Kevin, the new and old stuff, getting, and but we want to give an emphasis also on the things that help us integrate the Canadian society with resources like career fairs, young professional network, for newcomers to access, again, like I said, resources, students to have a formation. I just forgot the word in English. Trainings. This is what happens when you think in three languages. Yeah. So we're definitely what we've been planning on is for every subgroup in the big CARY to have programs at least once every 3 months, and just put the word out. That's what we want to do. Be more present and put the word out. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. If you are young in Toronto GTA areas, you are missing out. So, Aaron, do you have anything to add?
I'll definitely say, just to add on to what Kana said, yes, definitely we're working on 2023 to be a little bit more active than we were last year. This year we had a lot of meetings to become a more established organization. That way we're able to access funds. It is actually good to see that although we have not been able to have a lot of funding before, the organization has stayed alive, which I think is a testimony of the heart that people have for their country and their community. I think with the funding more, it will allow us to be able to be consistent with the programs, and also for like newcomers, students, be able to support them by giving them like internships, I'll say positions, which will also allow them to have work experience on their resume, which also allows them to be able to get their first job. Without experience, I have realized it's very hard to get a first job. But with this, giving responsibilities to the youth in college, university, that way they're able to build a resume for themselves, and as well, which again trickles down to the betterment of the community, because if they can build experience, get a job, and get hired. At the end of the day, that money will still end up in Rwanda somehow. So in helping families, building house, whatever it is. So that is, I think, what we will focus on more.
I like how patriotic Aaron is. Man, gotta give it to this man. You know, he brings it back to the big vision and sounds proper. My friend, president. President of CARY. I am nominated.
No, it's Vice President.
Vice President, no. The next president is you.
It sounds like those are the traditional African elections where we already knew who the president would be.
We already know.
Glad Rwanda has moved from that position. Although we do still love our leaders, and I think next year we'll definitely vote them 100%.
Sure. Absolutely.
No, personally, I'm gonna speak on behalf of the older generation. Okay, so I really believe in CARY. I really believe in our youth. And I really have hope for our community because of the young people we have. And I really want to invite everyone, every young person to join CARY. And when you're part of it, don't feel like, this is the work of Imanzi or Nadia or Aaron or Haisa. This is your work. I want everyone to bring every knowledge they have to this organization, because I believe we can really help our community to thrive from there. I have so much faith in you. And anyhow, last question, it's a bonus question. And I'm so grateful for the conversation we had around the community. It's not stopping here. We're going to have more conversation about the community, because when we started Gen 365, the bigger idea was building a community of hope and healing, a community not only just for Rwandans, even connecting other communities, Afro-Black community, and even going beyond, other communities. It can be white, it can be Asian, but, how can they relate to our culture? Because we have so much in common. We said that I'm part of the Rwandan community. Then I heard, dancing, then Christian, then there's so many communities we belong to, and coming from a multicultural society as Canada, I think it's important that we really come together. We want the Rwandan story to be heard. We learn about the Jewish, other communities' history, and I'm telling you, Rwandan story is a global history. It's important that we put our story somewhere. It's important that Canada recognize from schools everywhere. They recognize, the Rwandan story, the resilience of Rwandans. There's so much we can, share with the indigenous community from where we come from. Although the struggle and the pain is different, however, the resilience we have shown to really, even if we discuss that there's still healing that is needed, however, I think there's this resilience we have adapted that help us to keep going and thrive regardless of the pain that we share and carry. So last question will be, totally different from whatever we're discussing. It's about manifestation. The year is starting. People are always vision board, goals and all of that. Do you believe in manifestation or vision goals? If yes or no, could you tell us, why? And tell us about that.
You want to start, Aaron?
No problem. Yeah, I'm definitely a very big believer of manifestation. I do definitely believe that how you see yourself is who you end up to be. And I think it's also having a vision board allows you to have that thing that you can put hope on and fix your eyes on. And it also helps you to make a judgment to see what you're doing now or what you can do now that will bring you one step closer to that vision board. Without a vision board, I think you're basically just living your life in freestyle, which is not the very best way to live life. And manifesting, believing in yourself and believing in the vision board, seeing it every day, I think that allows you to have something to work for and wake up and be happy to wake up to work on every day. Yeah.
Wow. How about you, Nadia?
To be honest, I think it's a good idea. I don't do much of it. I'm lazy, so I don't think I'm capable of putting together a whole vision board. I have the vision in my head, though. It's good to be guided because I believe in having a goal, it's just that I don't think I'm very creative enough to sit down and I don't know, whenever other girls do it, man, they make it look pretty, they make it look believable. Nje kabisa, I can only jot down a few things in my agenda and be like, okay, this year I want to, do this, I want to do that. For most of the time, I'm setting myself up for failure. So you know what? I leave it up to chance. I'm like, we're gonna wish for the best, and then, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big believer of a vision board. So I was looking for this book that I read last year, and I'm about to read it again because this book really transformed me in a way that, because my idea of the vision board was, mostly try to visualize what I want to be, what I'm heading, and all of that. But this book it's called, Think and Grow Rich. So there's actually two editions. One was written from more the white community, and there is also an edition that was written for it's called A Black Choice. So so it was the first one was by Napoleon Hill, which is also good, but The Black Choice, that's what I read as well. And it really, really changed my way of thinking about manifestation. And not gonna lie, my vision board this year, oh my goodness, I just look at it, it's still, I still have it because I'm just
Can we take a look? Unfortunately, the people listening to us won't be able to see, but
yeah, that's the thing. It's just personal, but I feel like most of the things that I manifested really did happen. This book, it really it's more about teaching you about manifestation, but on a deeper level. So it's a very intellectual book, if you can think about it. But at the same time, changing your mindset, the way you think about yourself, because you have to be able to see it, to visualize it, to have it. If you can see it, just, I think it's even a waste of time to really think about having it. And I think there's a time also Oprah said that you're going to be a powerful manifester in a way that you're not going to allow fear when you manifest. And honestly, I've been dreaming and manifesting bigger. This cannot be the reality of everyone, but I've seen benefit. Anyhow, I'm going to have another podcast about just manifestation and vision, creating one. We can talk about that. But for me, oh my goodness, I've been seeing miracles.
Yeah. En tout cas, I would be very, very excited to go to, say, a vision board event. I've seen people have those kind of events. I would actually love to attend one and have some guidance on what questions to ask myself, where to get those creative pictures that people put on their vision boards, and how to arrange everything. But what you just said is real. You have to visualize something in order to want to get there. I feel like for me, it goes month to month. Say for like the month of January, I already know the stuff I want to do during this month because I have, over time seen that it's actually one of the hardest months for me in the year. Say maybe because I'm realizing, I don't know, I'm getting older. How am I doing versus my goals? So I'm trying to make it easy for myself and include things that make me feel good about myself. Have some culture, all that. My vision board includes fun.
But that's the part of it. Because even myself, when I did one last year after reading this book, it was more of like, I have so many responsibilities, and it can make you feel like, there's no room for fun. But this time around, I was like, oh, there has to be a room for fun, and I need to include that. So, yeah, and it doesn't matter even if it's for 1 year, month. I think that's not a problem. And you can actually organize one with your girlfriends or your friends around, do something together. Anyhow, not mandatory, but that was a bonus question to discuss about anything you all have to share or anything because we're done here.
Absolutely. Actually, funny thing is, I do have that same book. I just can't find it, but now you just gave me the energy to read it. I've never read it. I bought it.
Is it a Black choice one?
I have the Napoleon Hill. It's white vanilla-ish in color. Expedition.
No, even if you read the one as well is good. I think the difference with the second one with the Black choice is the stories that they include. It's more of like, successful Black people. I think that's the difference. Because I think in the first edition was more like of no addressing to the Black community. But this time around, it was addressing when you read stories, you can actually visualize them. And I'm about to actually read it again. I actually opened the book to start it again.
I'll definitely read it.
Yeah. And don't forget to follow CARY Toronto on social media. It's CARY Toronto. Just follow us. Participate in our activities. Merci beaucoup.
Yes, and you can join their WhatsApp group. So you won't miss out. Message them on social media. Then they can add you to their WhatsApp group. Even if you message me at Beyond the Veil, I will send you to CARY. Don't worry about it. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I wish you the most amazing, peaceful, happiest, abundance. What is it? Love, joy, everything, resilience, everything. Thank you so much.
Asante.
That's it for the week. We hope you gathered your dose of resilience for the week ahead. Follow Gen 365 podcast to know when the next episode comes up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or Google Podcasts. Share with your friends, community, and family, and do not also forget to follow and share feedback or questions on our community organization social media at Beyond the Veil Mission on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Or learn more about our work via our website at www.beyondtheveilmission.com. In the spirit of building resourceful, stronger communities, we can also help your community or business or organization to share your news and event on our podcast. Please email us for collaboration at podcastgen365@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye.